Bigfoot cooking.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bigfoot Cooking. Today, we're making breakfast. It's time for Bigfoot's hash brown omelet. Oh my goodness, look at this thing. It is just full of everything but the kitchen sink. But you could put the kitchen sink if you really wanted to. Now, for today's menu, you have options because not only do you have, I guess what you're gonna need for every one of them, you also have options, real options. So to start out, we're gonna use 1.5 cups of dried potatoes. Now, if you've got frozen, you could substitute that. You could probably defrost them, maybe 2.5 cups, just depends on how hungry you are. But we got 1.5 cups dried potatoes. We're gonna be using 3 eggs, a cup of cheese. Cheese is subjective. You want more, you want less, adjust. Make it your recipe. We're gonna use 1/2 onion and a little salt, pepper, and garlic. SPG, everything is better with that. A little butter to lubricate the frying surface. And then from there, then the real options come on because it's an omelet. What do you want on your omelet? You want olives, chili, pepper, spinach, ham, bacon, sausage, mushroom, jalapenos, tomatoes, pickles, yogurt, tofu, avocados, poppy seeds, liver, whatever. Make it yours. Have fun with it. Today, what we're putting in ours, we're gonna put some mushrooms. Love them guys. A little bit of bacon crumble, some jalapenos, and we're gonna take some sausage patties, fry them up, bust them up, and crumble them all over it. So let's get started with hydrating the potatoes. Now, hydrating dried potatoes is an extremely difficult and technical, who are you kidding? Add water to it. But we're gonna take our salt, pepper, and garlic. We're gonna take how they're so lovely, shake them up a little, and then just pour them in the potatoes. That way, as they hydrate, they're gonna go ahead and absorb some of those flavors there. And then pour. We're creating the pool, guys. This is where that hydration of the salt and the pepper and the garlic come in because they'll mix with the water and soak into it and add a little something to the potatoes. This takes 30 minutes to an hour. Now make sure you're using cold water or at least cool water. If you use hot water, you're gonna go from hash browns to mashed potatoes. Not what we're after today. So now we wait for the hydration to occur. And 15 minutes later, bam, it done swole up. Oh, getting big and beefy. I think I went to the gym. All right, now that we got our potatoes full, let's go ahead and start prepping some of these things. We got to slice up the onions and ground the beef. So let's get that party started. Now for this part of it, we're going to brown up. Like I said, we have frozen patties, at least for the minute. We're going to set these guys in here. We're going to cut them apart, make them into crumbles. Really tough technical stuff. It involves the meat masher. Watch and see. We'll just have to do a few flips, get them where they're mostly cooked or at least soft. Now that they're no longer frozen, it's time to attack. X marks the spot, baby. Now you gotta admit, that works pretty good. We're gonna let these guys cook a little bit more. We'll pull them out of the frying pan and set them to the side for the main event. And now comes the prep work on the onion. We're gonna take this guy, we're gonna slice him in half. Because I only want about half of it. I mean, it's only a servings for 2, so not that hungry. I don't need that much onion. So we'll take this guy, pull him in half again, just to make this easier. We'll pull the skin off of this guy. And let's see, might need to trim the butt off. Can't have no butt tasting onions. And we're just gonna slice this guy up into some smaller pieces, nothing too big, nothing too tight. It's just gonna add a little something as we eat the potatoes. And into the holding container. Oh, it's just gotta wait a minute. It won't take too long at all. And of course, we have to scramble the eggs, but watch the quickness of the scrambled eggs. Bam, bam, bam. Watcha! power of editing is a beautiful thing, isn't it? All right, so we got our onions prepped, eggs prepped. Time to drain off the liquid from the hash browns, put them on a griddle and start hotting them up. Now, as this thing's almost coming up to temperature, I've got it set for 400. We're gonna go ahead and butter it up a little bit because we don't want nothing sticking. Oh, look at that, look at that. Man, it is hot on the fingers too. Woo. I'll need the rest of that butter, but not yet. Now, we're gonna dump this guy out, get it where it's starting to toast up, warm up. And sizzle like crazy. Is that not what you like to hear on your frying pan? Just that little bit of noise that says we're doing it right. And speaking of doing it right, I was recently given a little pro tip on somebody who actually saw Bigfoot, and they recorded a video. Now, it surprised me too. He's got the guy. And check this out. He actually is trying to live like a normal human being. They caught him over there playing golf. Surprised me, but he actually, I don't think he's quite got the swing of it yet, but the boy is trying, you gotta admit. Pro golfer? Probably not. But it did make for proof that Bigfoot is real. And I'm telling you, the more of those videos I get, the more you're gonna see. Now, back to this. We got that spread out nicely. Time to inject the rest of the butter in this mix. We're gonna get it buttered, mixed, set. We're gonna set our onions in here as well. Get these guys home because it takes a little while for them to soften up. And we're gonna mix all this together and get some goodness going on. And if things like Bigfoot and breakfast kind of has an interest in you, if you don't mind, could you hit the little subscribe button down there? It sure helps out the channel. I'm trying to get one of those silver play buttons that the fancy YouTubers get. And it's gonna take a little while, but little by little, you guys are helping me out, and I do appreciate it. All right, check it out. We're starting to get some brown bits on it. That's a good sign. That means we're moving forward. We're getting this thing cooked up. Now, depending on how you like your hash browns, you may want them with a real dark base. You may want them lightly toasted. Do you? This is your meal. I'm just showing you a way. You can do the way. So I'm gonna give this a few more minutes. I like it where they're just barely toasty on the end before we put the rest of the love into this mixture. You hear that? Oh, that's the sounds and smells of something wonderful. Almost there. Patience is tough, but we're almost at the right spot. So just keep standing by. Keep fogging the glasses, holy cow. You know, if this was barbecue, I'd say I was waiting on the burnt ends, but we're just about right. Now, like you see, I got this nice laid out into a long, flat island of goodness. It's time to start putting on the tasty parts. We start with bacon. I mean, hey, it's bacon, baby. What can go wrong with that? Little crumbles here and there. Well, unless you're vegan. If you're vegan, I'm sorry for your loss, bro. This is good. We add our sausage, which is still slightly warm. I think I'll gently liberate and apply it with something that's not my fingers. Again, mushrooms, because mushrooms. Do you really need an excuse? Again, this is time for the kitchen sink to come out. Everything you like, all a little bit, tastes great. Jalapenos. Now, I've been told only put the jalapenos on half of it. Why? Well, the wifey doesn't quite have the same palate I do, so she don't want the kicker and the ticker, if you know what I mean. And now time for the glue, the eggs. Now, typically, I wait until the last minute to put the salt and pepper in there. That way, it does something with the egg if you salt it too soon. I'm not sure why or how or what magic goes on there, but now we got our salt and pepper added to it. Let's glue this omelet together. We just slowly take from one end and pour, and it's gonna fill up all the pores in it. You like that play on word? Pour. I should be a school teacher. Beautiful. And of course, cheese, because what meal would be complete without some cheese just loaded on top of it? Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this go until the heat gets all the way up high enough to melt down this cheese. That's when the egg's done, and that's when it's time to flip. Oh, the sizzle says it's time. Now to make this beautiful omelet, what we're gonna do, because this is obviously, well, maybe not obviously, this is a serving for two, unless you're real hungry. So, we'll go ahead and divide this guy. We'll slide this one on the end. We'll flip it once. Oh, look at that. Nice brown. We will flip it again. You know, it never turns out perfect when you're making it for TV. And we will slide this guy onto a plate. Now, there's the boring one. Let's get the one with some heat. Once again, flip. Oh yes. And flip. Hey, that ain't a flip, that's a chase. I'm gonna have to pull out the reserves. The display, the presentation, it's not there. This one is just called diner style. That's the beauty of homemade. If it don't work out right, it's homemade. You make it how you want. Oh well, not everything turns out how you want it to work out for the look. Let me tell you what, for the flavor, this is great. Of course, we gotta add a little more heat to it because it's breakfast. Swim. It's got to be the kickstart of the day, right? And I'm telling you, normally, of course not today because I'm trying to video it, but normally this stuff comes up, you cut into it, it lays out just like an omelet. But for today, it turned out just like breakfast. Breakfast is what matters. So until next time, y'all remember, Bigfoot is real. Whew. Man, that's hot. But man, that was good.